So we're starting at 97 on page 284.
Pumbe tang se, pumbe chi ni sumla sokba tinte tanga yora. Ane pumbe tang si chueba de meteba sa sigora. Meteba tinte medu sigora. Kare se ne, pumbe le tuyan shambe pumbe tang mebe chi sigora. Ko pumbe tang singi chi loga yu ne zeta de yogoda, tuyan shan yogoda. Za nga zu chi ne tuyan shan yomara, zet ngota de yomara. Pumbe tang da yori de. Pumbe tang de ngota de ke yomara. O de sigora. Pumbe tang si, pumbe tang, pumbe chi, pumbe ni, pumbe cheba, pumbe medaba, pumbe su, tinte cheba metewar sa asigora. Pumbe tang, pumbe su, zeta de mebechir. Pumbe tang, pumbe medaba, zeta de mebechir. Pumbe tang, pumbe chi, zeta de mebechir, tinte sigora. Ta tili lanchi, titi labudwa, tiwa di tiri. Ali tichi lamnes, ku tiwa di tiri wari ese.
The opponent is saying then down, below the verses there, that, well, then it is unacceptable to use the expression the number of the pot because there is no number that is objectively separate from the pot. The Buddhists then don't accept this when you say that, one pot, two pots, or the impermanent pot, or the gold pot. Don't accept that somehow there's some separate, that these two, whatever the quality of the pot, the number of the pot in this case, and the pot itself are two separate entities, or are substantially separate. Or here he uses the word objectively separate. So then the Buddhists say that they're one entity, you could say, or same nature, maybe is better to say, and so that's where this discussion comes from.
Tadele pa le jang yorda. Oh ya, ngobu chebe tanam jisdi kuchuko jedira. Ngobu chebe tanam ji transo teta demba le se. Tade shindu tenka tiya, chwe shen kebar cheba yin sigdwa. Oh digi le jora. Ngobu chebe tanam ji se. Transo teta demba. Ngobu chebe transo karsigora sena. Pumbe chang singadere swa. Pumbe chang. This one. Pumbe chang si chusha. Pumbe chang si ngobu chube cha se. Ngobu chube cha nam ji se. Pumbe chang si tu. Pumbe chang si tu za chang de chusha ra. Pumbe de keju kondo re. Chusha chube cha su de. Ngobu chube cha se. Ngobu de chusha de se do. Ngobu chube cha nam ji. Transo te dan dembale. Tade shindu tenka ten chusha kebar cheba yis. Ngobu de chube cha nam ji se do. Pumbe chang si chube cha de ro. Pumbe chang si ne. Ngobu de chube cha nam ji. Transo te dan dembe pumbe le tade shindu tenpa kanyba. Pumbe chang si pumbe le losu changa chi. Yoba tenki yora. Ode tempa rita zeta de yoni tenki yoma resi gora. Pumbe le kecho mambu yoba nane pumbe changa de hako ya tundal. Pumbe chang si laba resi gora. Ode rima pumbe chang ngota de zeta de tenki yoma resi gora. Goba yode pumbe kecho shen le pumbe chang kebar do kawar cheba le charwa yinbe ses. Ode lamne digore.
So the the number of the pot, that expression is not to indicate that the number and the pot are two substantially different entities, but to indicate that a certain quality of, a certain quality of the pot. There are many different qualities or aspects of the pot, and so the number of the pot is one of them, and it's just to indicate that. So the commentary reads as follows: the verbal expression for the predicate entity, which also seems to show that number, etc., are substantially different from the pot that possesses them. I don't know how this works as a sentence. The verbal expression for the predicate entity, which also seems to show that number, etc., are different from the pot that possesses them and have a purpose, because they are applied in order to make us understand the distinction between the number of the pot and the other particular predicates of the pot. Still doesn't seem like a sentence, but Dvesa.
Tezam shebar debala kuju kurku deredwa. Tezam shebar debala shengun pangba mebarne lala somon demba she tade shoshin chebar Yeshe. Sormo demba segwa sormo se desigra. Demba se ko shibar segora chururu che segora. Sormo demba se odi. Yadu kasegora se kabla sormo demba se chebe tade segwa. Sormo de soso demba le zetade sormo jayan demba se losu chi yebe so zetade tabur chugre segora. Kane labdi ni zetade kaga imbe sormo demba se logachi loksu yebachi tabulu tade chugre yore segora. Dina zetade yoma re segora. Sormo de sormo demba le zetade shindo chebe chebala koba yedes zetade mena zetade tabu chebala koba karosina. Sormo shiba dezamshi Sormo shiba somo de segora. The ruruche debaration de segora. Somo dambam somo sama sor the ruruche debate samshi hakoya cheto sormo damba slabgore segora. Somo shiba dezamshi shebran de bala te shebe cheto dogba shen kun lu do pangba mebars somo keju shenda mangbo yore tazulu do mapamba che Demba Koran Shiba some Koyak to Labiores, Zeta de Yomare de Zeta de Yoba, Dabulabe Kobati Resido.
The saying, if we read at the top of 285 here, the saying expressing the conjunction of fingers. When we say conjunction of fingers, it means just all the fingers coming together like that, my four fingers coming together, has the purpose of expressing it as if the fingers were a predicate that is a substantially different quality than the conjunction of fingers. Because when someone desires to know just that row of fingers, the words, the conjunction of fingers, express just that in order that they may know it, without projecting as a mental object any other opposed predicate. And that is a clearer sentence to me.
Jason.
Jason,
Yeah, Tangan did the order, or those two Seneca. Then the order of Tunji Jogan Datamba de Redwa. The Tangma in the Chiganchita, the Tadech Shepherd system, Tandus. The Tunji Jogan Tamja and a Penjo someone dangerous, a treasure job drying day, says Dua. All the Casuras and the treasure job Tadege, Cabaret, Mebon, Tambanes, or Dandin. Solomon Dembar Yoroshe Chube Trachuja, Solomon Dembar se Tadera, Tante de Chibarison, Shiba and Dembar Chibarison. Solomon Dembar Yoroshe Chube Trachuja, Chujan Chubera Traba Yendese, Solomon Dembar Asena, Solomon Dembar Sena, Solomon de Chujan and Dembar de Castle Children Dura. Solomon Dembar Sevena, and Dembar de Chujan, Solomon de Children Dura. Aliti malam dure so.
Some of the
Ta dure. Someone dambar yorsi chube trade se do. Someone damba se trade se ra. Chujen chube trade de se. Someone la to de chujen chube trade se. Damba la to de chuju de trade se gora. Someone keju tume nane shibe to chibu de chujan se. Someone damba se na. Someone ya keju mambo yebe nane tinane to Demba Rucheva Tikan de Laban de Resgora. Some keju to men on a shibet de Chibu, Churjans, some keju shantam jalu to Pembade, Mabambe, Trying Bachelor, some shant keju to the Louis to Copangi or Maresgora. Teachibu de Lola Coachedo, but the Shanta to the Labio Maresgora. Oh, the love Shanta.
So the saying expressing that the fingers are conjoined is known to express the subject, because although from among the many particular predicates of fingers, it expresses the single meaning of a row of fingers, it is an expression that can project as mental objects all other particular predicates of fingers and does not exclude them. Therefore, although there are no objectively separate particular predicates, there is a purpose in the employment of different signs for one object, because one does so in order to generate cognition through excluding or not excluding other particular predicates of a single object. So it's just to, although there are other predicates of fingers, it's just so that you know the conjunction of the fingers. And
Teresa. That's all got Jada Chick did it. That day Carsic Dosena, Richard and Soldier take heaven. Yala Gentushan, Mebar Residua, Yala Gentushan Mebar, Yala Samji in Asidua, Takutsul of Gurata, Ralu Chura. This one. Yala Gentushan Mesit and the Shedeva, Yala Los, Yala Gentushan Yomar, Zeta de Yomar School of Gura, Kazil of Gura, Ralucene, Yala Chenda, Yala de Yala Gentushan Yomar, Moji, but it's a super Sigura. Yala Gentushan Mebar. Yala some Yinasura, Keran number Davanashi Chena, Yala Chet and Shem Ebache, Yala some Yinasura, and Pumba Su Shebatase, Pumba Su Sevata, Sula Soba Namji Su Sheba some to Gurji, Pumba Su de Sevata, and Sula Soba Namji Su, Tende Lab Yormado. Pumbe su se lab to Maresura. Pumbe su se bani mirumar juro shenase. Pumbe su sana yala da yala chere dugora. Pumbe yala chende che su ene yi kado ti ro reja ser tindele dura. Pumbe su se cheba mirumar juro shenas. Pumbe su sana lab de mares kares ne yala chen shem do askira. Pumba su sana pumba de yala che any su de yalache, any Tanashi Yipta, Chododa, Shelta, Toa, se Kende Yalache, Yalache, Yokurasagora. Yalache, the Ralu Yodawa. In a Kur Yalache, Yona Yalache, Tansha, you could do some Gora. Kagaji love to do ni, you could do something that they knew you some Gora. Pumbe Su Shepa Miru and Juroshena, Pumba Shebeta, Yala, Pumba Shebeta, Yalache, Shala Juba. My Indies. Didn't cover it. What did it? To you, you can't tell me a pencil some of the children of a diet. Didn't do Sarah. Tandang di Labiva, or the Jadachi Labiora. This one. Yana said to Shem Mebar, Yana Samina, Pumba Su said, Sula Sobe Su said, then they love Matochi, Pumbe Su Silavio Maresora. Pumbe Su Shebamiron, Pumbe Susana, Pumba Chen, Pumbe Su, Pumbeka, Pumbe Shepsitu, and then Yana the Yana Chen Redora. Jana Yana Chen Mevas, Yana Chiton Shem Mevas. Pumbe Su Shebamiron, Juroshenase, Sulabdoa. That telepale Jagora Umadige.
So then, no, that's true. If the opponent is saying on 286 here, if there merely exists parts without there being an objectively separate whole, then one merely can use the expressions, the pot is formed, and the form of form. But it will not be suitable to use the expression, the form of the pot. If there are, so they're saying that there's merely pot, so you can't talk about the form of the pot as if the pot were a whole. In the form is a part of the whole.
This one.
No, this one. Because Bumbe Sus and the Yana Chendan Yana
Yogode. Kini Yana Jeton Shen Yogode, Kena Yana Jeton Shen Mevash. Then Pumbe Su, Pumbe Ka, Pumbe Shaps, Tadi Yuma, Reseba.
Oh, because you're saying that there is no separate objectively separate whole. So then you can't use the expression the form of the pot.
Pumba se beta yana se shala juba marese pumba se chogre sora pumbe su se pumba su yana chen re se ora na lo pumbe khasha to chi na su ti ro re ja se chogra cheta le jagra pumba se beta yana se shala juba maides pumba se do za pumbe yana le se be ene to de se chu gi ten ne ba pumba se la gi wa marese ora juba marese ora Garesana, Todi Shabson, Chuku de Tunjin Nube, Toba, Todi de Shabson, Chuya Jangenge, Nalo de Tungenge, what this of the Lapumbas la Piore. The Suso Nube, Keban, Ponga Tison Debu, Kumiban, the Namjola Pumbeta and Juba Jusida, Dilan Jagda. Pumbet to the Jed Duba Sigara, Combo, Debu Chukur, Chavas and get the Lazara. Debu Chukur member number 2 was Chukur Maibal and Dog was Chukur by the cigar that day. Maibal and Dog by Malam Nature. Chukur Wage, Chavach and get Tobatelia, Pumbashi by Tangu Middle Jugu de Sigara. Give me the Yana and Tunshe, Pumbe Yana let Tunshe be Pumbase Chantel and Jugu or Mare Sigara. I thought they Shabsum Chu had young Chavach and get it. Yana didn't even get this talk about the lap, but statue.
So the Buddhist response is that is as follows: the expression "a pot" is not applied to some objectively separate whole, because the word expressing pot is applied as an objective name to the collection that is cut off from being the non-cause of the water holding, that is the common result of the conjunction of those 8 atomic substances of the pot. So that there are different substances that come together to collectively form the pot, which has a function of water, holding water, and then it's just talking about that apoa here. This whole idea of cutting off and the non-cause of the water holding. So, sorry, did I drop my voice?
Could you say it again?
Yeah. Well, again, I said you don't really have to think about this, but it's just the opposite. It's just talking about that the pot is the opposite of non. It's non-pot, so it's the opposite of pot, non-pot, right?
This one.
Uh,
Oh yeah. That the order. Tena pumba so she paja Dharma Yeshe was the way. Tena pumba so she paja Dharma Yeshe the way.
No, dude.
Oh, dear, another.
Yeah.
Dada Jig Tama Chigan Tamani Dera. Oh yeah. Don't you guys so Pumbe so she be Tade Sigara. Then the Pumba so she the Pumbe so she be Tade Sigara. Pumba da Pumbe so ni she check by the Shidun be Tamare Sigara. Pumbe so she does Pumba Yangan Su Yangan Shidun Labio Mare Sigara.
Shidun
Niga Yangachi. Niga Yimba. Pumbe so she do Pumba Yangan Su Yangan de Labio Mare Sigara. Pumba Koran Chasha Su Yangan de Labiora. Pumbe su Pumbe Sha Pumbe Toa Sigra. Pumbe su Pumbe Sopta del Sigara. Pumbe su Sede Pumba da Su Shitun de Labio Mare Sigara. And the Karla Gerson Pumba da Pumba Chasha Koran Chasha Su de Sigara. Pumbe Sha Pumbe Ka Pumbe Toa Sigra. De la Guaresora. Tena Pumba so Shichi Bajan, Shitun Jubeta Mare Sigara. Choba Chance Namidora, Yala da Yala Chen, Chebetara, Pumbesu,
Oh, there.
no dear Mados, Pumba did Sugi Shidun to Chebeta Marisora. Pumbesu so she Tadi Pumbata, Pumbesu, Shichibacha, the chick, the Pumba, the Sua, the Lagio Marisora, Shidun Chebeta Marisora. Oh. Pumbedin the order, Pumbashi Chubeta, Pumbesu, Tila, Sogwa Namdi, Razin Sheba Kiba, Tumo Maiba, Nube Keber, Chozara Pont in Nature. Shanda to the Labi Homare, Pumbesu, Shanda to the Pa Pani Shani, Dinane, Pumbes of that day, Chibulabi or Resigara. Oh, the ropes are left in this.
So, if we read it, the top of page 287, then thus, in the expression, the form of the pot and the form of the pot have two bases. The form of the pot is not a phrase that implies having one basis, i.e. the same basis, because because Genda was saying that what's being indicated is the whole and the parts. Okay, the form is one what do you say, part of like the shape really of the pot. So then anyway then. So it's not a phrase that implies having one basis, i.e. the same basis, because the expression pot excludes as topics other particular predicates with the uncommon ability to generate a self-apprehending cognition of the form, the smell, etc. of the pot. So it's excluding just any other parts of the pot. It's just talking about one part of the pot.
This one. Oh yeah, that's in Kavaleso. Oh yeah, that is one. That Pumba Shejube Tade Pumbe Sutila, that it is a issue. Tena Pumba Shejube Tade Pumbe Sula Sobala Tune, Chuju Tadan. 당연 들라고 절만 되지 말.
The
봄바시 베타시도와. 봄바시 저 베타데서 봄베 소라 소발라 또데 속주지 자데서 거라. 근데 속주지 자신 게 지다 릭주지 자신 게 지니요라. 릭주바. 지다 지다 속주지 자다 릭주지 자. 릭스네 지들시라 미릭세라. 미지다세라. 지다 지다 되시도와. 속주지 자신은 속바 두테만부 속바지 쥐베 자들 속주지 자시기도. 근데 봄바시 베타지 속주지 자래. 양라 만부 속 샵도와 두테만부 속베 쥐고라. 아니 릭주지 자래데. 릭주지 자도 봄바디 쥐르바. 그냥 봄베 릭 만부 요라 시르봉 상봉 무샤기 봄바 로에 봄바. 봄베 릭 만부 요라. 오 대소자 릭주지 자래 속주지 자래. 니가래. 가시 릭주지 자인바 속주지 자 많이 봐요래. 속주지 자인바 릭주지 자 많이 봐요라. 무시시 그래. 다들 남남을 가장 무시. 디도가 너는 디라네야 그래. 디스도 속주 봄바시 집에 다디 봄베 소라 속발라 또는 속주지 자래세라. 아니 시르봉라 속발라 또는 릭주지 자래세. 봄바디 지르바. 시르봉 상봉도 그 지다르바. 자 콜레토데 릭주바라 콘주치부데 릭신에와 다소라 시봉라 소발라 또네 릭주제 타임베 나마 죄절 봉신 심한 매봉하니 노식도 봄바시베 타데게 봄베 수타티로 렉자라 소바토조 죄자 지금 말해서래 죄자 봉하래서라 아니 치마데 릭주 봄바시베 타데게 시봉 상봉라 소바토조 죄자를 뽕기 말해서래 갑리 시봉라 고그리 상봉라 고쳐그러봐 어디서거라 This one.
Therefore, since the expression, a pot, expresses a collection from the point of view of the form of the pot, and expresses a genus from the point of view of a golden pot, the former excludes other particular predicates as topics, like other predicates could be the smell or the taste or the tangibility of the pot and so forth, while the latter does not exclude other particular predicates. There are other kinds of pots. Okay, so there's two kinds of, let's say, pot is either two kinds of expressions. There's either a collection expression or a genus expression, as it's translated here. So then it's talking about those two kinds of expressions. Things are either, then it goes into talking about these two ideas of a collection expression and a genus expression. Therefore, one must apply the four-cornered analysis. Maybe you heard the Tibetan for this mushi. To collection expressions and genus expressions. There is collection without genus, as in the expression Mount Vindhya, and genus without collection, as in the expression form, both collection and genus, as in the expression a pot, and neither collection nor genus, as in anything not covered by the above, and he made the note down here of, like a proper name, like, David or whatever.
소주제 양라제 제생 네버 조제시바 마르서 데 따기 땅마셰 돈다 뒤지 셰그도아 릭주제 자데기 릭된신 조제시 마르 릭조제시데 릭된신 조제시 마르서 거라 네 소주제 자데 봄바시베 자데 보데 소주제 자 양라제 제생 네버 조제시 마르서 양라제 조제시 그다 양라제 제생 조제시 마르서 도아 나메 릭제 조제르 뽕세 ngame rikchen chocha memora rikchu ji tradege rikchen chitra to chocha pongi mare segora chocha chisigra sibon sambon ser tende jusigra chime chokba chen chocha ponga dinese chokju ji tradege chokba chen pumba shiba trad pumbe shapta towa ta pumbe suta yipta teju chocha pongi re chocha chig mare se tonda dini rikchu ji trada chokju ta keba re segora
Yes. Therefore, it does not definitely follow that an objectively separate genus is the topic of a genus expression. It does not follow. This is the, like the Vaisheshikas have this idea of objectively separate, but it doesn't follow that an objectively separate genus is the topic of genus expression, and a substantially separate whole is the topic of a collection expression, because a genus expression does not exclude other particulars. Like we were talking, with genus expression, you can think of a copper pot, a gold pot, a blue pot, a green pot, while a collection expression does exclude parts. This is the difference between genus expressions and collection expressions. Tadrisa.
Tini kebar tembar che siti lagdo sol sikan sum di lagdo shichu shi sum da kade se o de kade se do se na tichi yala du che de se do yala chen tenshen me jang su pumba su de pumba de yala chen rba pumbe kha shab to a yip ta te zu kanga yala rba so pumba se ka se yala chen tenshen me jang se pumba yene su se sheso cheba tala koba yore sigora pumbe su sidza ane su de yala che pumba de yala che rba ane pumba yala che pumba de pumbe su la sokba le che ta de be tension be pumba yala che de yo marwa yo mar de ni kaga ni yoba na shi tragla bi ware pumbe su sidza pumba pa che yang su se shenda yoba chi na shi la bi wara ko che ta de ni ke yo ma re sigura ya la che de she me ja pumba ye ne su she so che ba ta la ko ba yo re sigura che ta de me na che ta de ni yo ba ta bu la be de ko ba yo re sigura te dar pumbe su che shi da se pumbe su de che shi che ene pumbe su de che shi da 속지 pumba te 속지 pumba de ba 속지 pumba래. 속바 챤데 pumbe 수다 가도다 입도 주리라. 속지 pumba데 개주게 양라도 챤데세. 땜베 pumbe 수데 란진 셰바 개베 니바 개버서 로유도 땜버셰베셔. pumbe 수스데 pumbe 수 여바셰 pumbe 수데 pum진 미시 개절로 속바 어떤데 니바 여바데 땡기 오래스가라.
So,
yeah.
Although there does not exist any objectively separate whole, that's what this is the Buddhists rejecting that idea. Such expressions as the saying, the form of the pot, etc., have a purpose. It looks like they're talking about. It looks like they're talking about something, two distinct things, but that's not the case. It's, the expression seems to indicate that, but have a purpose, because by showing thus that there are two parts, vis-a-vis the particular basis, which is the form of the pot, and the particular predicate, which is the general collection. So then pot, the general collection pot, they show as the mental object, the particular object that has the ability to generate a self-apprehending cognition of the form of the pot. So it's to make it it shows that there's the form of the pot can be cognized.
그래서
Yeah, Geshe.
근데 초대 샹라 줘버샤 세더라. 시간 타면도 된다데도. 초대 샹라 줘버샤 세더. 어디 가서 그래서는 단다 따데 지셔서 분배수수도 수 양라체 분배도 양라체체 아니 양라체 전시면은 분배수세 분배스페 로가시 수세 로가 유베서도 시에요라. 얘나티고 된den이 요마로와 요고모도와 어디셔버 되게 전den지 티세 강배고세라 강배 직바세다 어때서 현달에 디나신 니 요바다불라고 여데 양라체 초보체 제타데 요마레스 하고 지스거라 초대샤라 줘버자 셰마다고 초대 전den지 티시 시 줘바다고 샤라야 대신도 양라체 전신 매장 전den지 티시 줘발랑 대와 매바 어디서 지스거도
So this position that has just been explained also is expressible in the idea that even though there is no objectively separate whole in such other expressions as the smell of the sandal or the roof of the house or the walls of the house, there is nothing contradictory in the expression, the smell of sandal. When, it's not that it's trying to express some objectively separate whole. That it's indicating, the whole, and then a part of the whole or an aspect of the whole. So when one employs such an expression, sandal is the particular predicate, and its smell is the particular base. This is the particular predicate. I don't know. Yeah, these are the two words. Particular base. It's sort of like there's the particular predicate. Another translation of that is what do you say? The Geshe is the basis of the Geshe, the aspect or the particular of the base, So particular base here is the smell, and the aspect of it is it's the what do you say? Because
They should have loved John Lamno to get out.
no,
They love my talking. But to say Trevor Chow, they put on to Yeshe.
yeah,
That the Trevor says, do I? That Trevor says, Carriage sending trees to Sigora. Sending trees, love you Sigora. Sending the casual Sigora. Sending the casual. Did the casual Sigora.
No.
Oh, dear, I go to
Geshe. Oh,
they got so near the Tambo de Log Soya, Tambo de Lolo child, the cases Sigora. This area so child get the casual Sigora. Case casual then they give a mare. Then Palan Carbosena, Palan Casiraba, Carbo Casiraba. The carbos tone pick out the carriers and Palange Carbo Resona. Carbo de cases, Palan de casual and or Dean didn't got the shingle, the 600 good. The Dutch says, and then casual, they take Casey, said.
Yes.
Sendenji tis to Zanko Tambu the teach Kagiora,
Nare.
Titi Nelio, the Caritimento, but sending Timades, Keshi the Timadesora,
Nare.
Kesu the Sendesongore.
Ah.
Oh, did it?
Ah.
Tinashi, Palan Carbo Sesona, Palan Keshirva, Carbo Kejurva.
Nare.
The Carbo Jetone, Ticari Carbo, Palanki do de Shasina, Palan Carbo de Sena, Reg Carbo de Sena, or the Keshun Dog. So
Nare.
Kesh de Co Cane Labdanga Cabade.
Nare.
Look, Tambu Shirson had the Keshigora.
Nare.
These yell to the child, Keshu Sera.
Nare.
So Kesh the Keshu area, Keshu the Kesh and Jure.
Nare.
They tried on top of some Lutan down the Chodang Cabashiri Mado.
Nare.
Thinking, what this is your body.
So what he's saying there with that particular predicate and the particular base is is that you don't with the predicate and the the particular predicate, if we want to say that, the base, the particular base, it's never exactly certain what which is, it's sort of which is which. So if you happen to smell some, it's talking about sandalwood here. So if you get a sandalwood smell, then you'd say, well, what's that odor? So the odor becomes like the base, and it's then you say, well, it's sandalwood odor, and so this sandalwood becomes the whatever the quality of that base. I think we usually do, and then or the predicate of that base. So then, but then it's kind of tricky. It's kind of like what you see first. If, for instance, if you see a white elephant, then you understand that the white color is the what do you say, the aspect or the particular quality of the white is, the white color is the quality of the elephant. But then if you happen to see the color white in a forest, you see white, and then you understand it's an elephant's white. So then in that case, then it switches around where the base is the white, and it's the elephant. It's an elephant's white. So it's sort of like what you see first.
This one. Oh, yeah, Tangani did it. Andinema Karisha was not Luigi, Chokbana Yube, today Tamu Rene, today Tamu to Chokba, take a yearly Kuchi Maristit of Jessica. Tagin Talia Cardos, Miwa, Nawa, Chawa, Lua, Tezuka, Yilu, Yele Chigmare, Tajin Chigmaris Laura, Miki Sheba de Tajin Miwa, Chigre, Nave Sheba Tajin, Nave Chigre, Sarah. In a Yi Sheba de Tezu Tajin and Yungmares as well. And the Luigi Yele and Yungmares Lavsara. The Luigi Sobana, you were to change the Zoge, Yilu de Tigre Maretita Sigora. To change Sobak, Chigmare, to change the Chigmares, Tishak, Dinama. Oh, yeah.
So this discussion of atoms and breaths, then, as it's entitled here on 289, comes from before we had this whole discussion of whether the mind and body discussion, where we're saying that it's not that the body is the dominant condition for the mind. That you have the object is what do you say, reflected in or picked up by the sense faculty, for instance, in an unmixed way. If it's the eye sense faculty, then it picks up a visible object, and it doesn't pick up a smell, for instance. So then it's the dominant condition for then producing a visual consciousness, which then gives rise to the mental consciousness. And so it's not that somehow from the visible object the mind directly is caused. There's this. The mind is directly caused from the object. It's that there's this process where the sense faculty is then causing the sense consciousness, which then gives rise to the thought and other the judgments and so forth from the mental consciousness. So this discussion is based on that. Yeah.
Kaina kosne yana chen de tunshen yo ma re sigdo. Yana che tunshen ji yo ko re ti yo rang lu yo ma re sigdo ra. Rang lu ya tunshen re che ti chokbe yana chen yo re. Ti tunshen ma re. Tunshen ka che ne ti le lo ko zu se yo ma re. O ti du zen ko yana che tunshen yo ma re sigdo ra. A ko ne yana che tunshen ko re sigdo. O di che ta yana re wa ti. This one. Yana to take the Yana. They do talk about the any lyric on you to the order.
Oh, so then, consider the Yana did because
Yana Chen. So
the discussion is that between wholes and parts here again, that in the Buddhist perspective, there's not like there's not an objectively separate whole. Okay, the Vaisheshika could say there's an objectively, what did we call it? An objectively separate whole, and so then there this discussion then is that coming from the Buddhist perspective, that the whole is not a separate entity from the parts. The parts come together in a collection, and that's the whole. And so then you don't have this idea of an objectively separate whole.
Yana chikdan tena min se dera, sawatera. The shibju shibsumge chikan tamate da shibju shibshigi tangbuni dere doa. Malu gyuni di kari shegore sana, duten kun luji duten kun chogbade, duten da changma ganga changma chogbade, ane yiluge gyurimbade kagi doa. Duten kun chogba Ilu Kurimba Kagayore, Tadigi. Malu Guni Yinane, Yana Chikna Tena, Minsudo. Luigi Tobana Yube, and then to that summer, Jula Kuguyana, and then Luigi Tobana, Yana Tamu Chikna, to that Ching Machanaya, Ilu Major Tarsigora. Yanagi Chamaluba, Ilu Kuni to Kube Sigora. Summer Jula Kuguyana. 아니 류지 차셔 두텐집 상마소나 이렇게 속 말해서 그래. 그래서
Yilo.
일로다.
Dopa.
말루 균이 이나네서도. 말루 균이 일로 똑밖에 와라야. 두텐 류지 두텐 상마 말루 찍게 말루 바 균이 나서 그래. 아니 두텐게 양라 찍 마잖아. 일로 똑밖에 속 말해서 그래. 찍다 되나 일로 껴면 부터 그래서 그래.
So here on page 289, the verse is kind of mixed in here. So if we just read the commentary, just below that 103, you see the verse 103. Also, if even one subtle part is missing, in the Vaiseshikas, then they're saying that the cause, the cause of the mind is just one atom. The body is made up of many atoms and many subtle atoms that make up the whole body. So then they're saying that that's what gives rise to the mind. But so then, if even one subtle part is missing, it follows that the mind will not arise, because that which is the cause of that definitely must have every single part present. And then down below, it follows that where it says 103, setting forth the consequences, and it follows that many minds will occur simultaneously in the mind stream. That maybe because Geshe Yeshe ikchen Dharma de dritsara that Geshe because Gyadan Shi ikchen Dharma de dritsara.
Malu 균이 이나네 양나 찍다 되나미스. 십시게 양탄 당부 당부도 인념도 놓으라.
네.
양나 찍다 되나. 되돼서.
되돼서.
야.
십시.
근데 대바된 념도 놓으셔 되대. 디바도. 돼서. 야. 자연 버셔. 다 레레스 거라. 레레 네바니 이나야. 직접 마분 중화를 요르셔야 되라.
네.
자다시 타마테나 자당에 나네 제가 당부도 냠도 용도.
네.
내가 쓰도서나 다 주체 레레게 톱그레 주체 강가 고 말에 이로 깨발이야. 류지 소반에 왜 주체 레레 깨 톱그레 세나스 거라. 아니 엔텔레견 가르탄 거라서나 레레 네바니 이나야 직접 마분 중화를 요세라. 주체 레레게 류지 소반에 왜 주체 레레게 이로 톱게 톱고요나. 아니 뒤템be 망부 요레테 강가게 일로 똑바야 레레케나 일로 망부 직자도 중앙 그래서 거라. 레레 네바니나 직자 망부 중앙 요세. 이 제바들이야 뒤 직자도 기부치기 규라서 뒤 직자도 간사치기 규라 뒤 직부서라. 일로 망부 중앙 교화 타라서 거라. 뒤템 레레 샹달로 떼메고야체 소소소게 일로 깨네베체서 거라. 아니 일로 마부 레레레레 고랑도 기께나 일로 마부 끼와타 그래서
So if we just go to the commentary here in the middle of page 289, it follows that many minds will occur simultaneously in the mind stream of one person. This is refuting the idea that they are able to act, that all these different atoms in the body are able to act individually as the basis of this conceptual mind that arises. But it follows that many minds will occur simultaneously in the mind stream of one person, because atoms have the ability individually, independently, to generate the conceptual mind.
그래서 다 데르다 가서래. 쇼로가 자당아 들려도 와. 자당아 들려도. 도마니도 총배셔. 종업단에 예제 민세 이런 것도 와. 당분이도 이런 것도 와.
네.
내가 그래서는 다그 뒤태레레레게 네 라완도 전에 일로 똑바르게 깨토고 말해서거라.
Mm.
우대 럭바고 그래서거라. 우 딱바데.
Mm.
우 땅에 대한 kondu 딱바시 깨지를 민지고서 딱바케는 것도.
Mm.
우대 교లకు 그래서 제 sonza 두레레레레게 고 깨토고 연나야 우대 찍마도 요 말을 우 딱바데게네 kondu라고 저거를 되는데 망보 뒤치도 망보 찍고 말해서거라. 저래저래 그래서도 디파서 두만이도 송배서 중국단의 교마인식도 우 중국다 시전세 차도만 매배 일로 레레코나 겨워 니제 멤버다 류다 뒤기 차세 도마장이도 송배서사 도마니도 송배서도 도마니도 송배서 우 중국다 시전세거라 차도만 매배 일로 레레코나 겨워는지 우들의 차도마 요 말에니 일로 레레 두센도 일로 레레 고껴와 네바 제통게 네바도 제통게 텐데 많이 버탈시고라 네제 멤버타 르다 뒤게 차셰 도마장이도 송배세 르라야네 뒤게 차셰 망보 요바나시 우라야 차셰 망보 요데 직장자 말에서거라 송배세서거라 도마니도 송배세 중국 단의 교마인세 우 중국의 두테레레게 일로레레 깨지 네버시베 교마레스거라 가르스는 두테들 망부 여반에서 울레 두테 망부 여라시거라
Yes. Ula Duten Mamu?
두테 여라 우타타 수타에들 수라고
Yes.
선 참망부 여라
Oh, right.
바도 생도 조슈아니 구두 망부 땅도 오 지금도 많다는 간식잖아요. 하시다요.
So now we're refuting the idea that with breath as a condition there would not arise many simultaneous minds. So refuting the idea that mind arises from a permanent breath, that they have this idea of permanent breath because they don't accept momentariness, and then breath is permanent. It follows that breaths not having, if we read down below the verses on page 290, it follows that breaths not having many parts, you have to think of breath as having parts and many, atoms. So do not determine the arising only of individual minds, because breaths are equally as multiple in atomic portions as is the body. Nice.
그래서 다들 그 출래자도 우라 차샤만 보여래 르기 되네시 망보여래 직장자 말했어라 그걸로 디마도세 우라야 차샤만 보여 말했어라 가르세 찌르해서라 우 딱바찌나 돼서라 딱바래서라 우 딱바찌니 노시나야 하시도 찌니 나야 망셀 요르세 싸와테라 찌니 나야 망셀 요르세 그 찌니 노세데 가지르바 망세 교르스랑 루파스기가라 우데 딱바 찍마도 요말 마부 요말세나서 우 딱바 찍니 이노시나야세 우 딱바 찍데 대선사 루지 투텐도 레레게 일로 레레 껴와려 우 딱바 찍마도 매자 ene tuchik kangal chuche thuk mare sigara kona chana ta ran lu chana u takba ge chuchik yona ene kera kersere yilo mabu tuchik ja do sev chane ke thuk gre sigara te ju u takba de ta do ye kar bas ko takba ina jura chelega ke che kumar kora takba intention de yora ene ko takba de jura ne ke che kumar lu tu the mangbu yore tu the mangbu to ko takba tu tak do rogbachinge uye bare sigora eko ke chogre sigdo mangsen juruse tuchi do yilu to mangbo sabar ke war joata liji tuche mangbo ye yilu ke jige tine u takba de kadina kontrol roba troche ba ye ba imbeche takba sonja ko kashel roche kashe meji tinde jurose yo mare sigora no de ya yilu mangbo chije sabar joata te kyu
So here, the opponent is saying the reason is unproven. There is a single permanent breath. And then the Buddhist rejoinder to that is, it follows that it is clear that there will be many simultaneous minds because their permanent cause is always present. And once there's, that once it's always there, then it's constantly producing minds, right? So a permanent breath is, the opponent says, a permanent breath is the cause of just one mind at a time. It is not the cause of many. So then the Buddhist rejoinder is, it follows that the permanent breath is not the cause of many minds successively either, because something that can generate simultaneous minds does not change so that it has a dissimilar ability. That you can't, so because it's permanent, then it can't be acting successively, where sometimes it'd be working and sometimes not. Then it would have parts. Then it would have, then it wouldn't be permanent. It would be changing. So it's like, so that's why the Buddhist rejoinder is coming back, that it can't act successively. So then it has to produce many minds.
Yeah, this one.
But simultaneous that as well. Yeah.
Get to me, you mean as a taco young Jaguar. Oh, the Utakbata Yorete, Utakbata, you look to my care. Luigi to Santa Mongolia, you look to my care, Chuchigma race, chick connect your race. Get it to make you mean as a get it to you look chick corner, connect you in it to make you meno shenasigua. Get it to make you mean as a consola. This one, Tatalia Par Lagura, Ucho Janse, Rimbijan, me chemical sawadera. And the Rimbijan, you look to make you member Sigora, Udisgora, Udichojan, you look to my Rimbijan, my imbartar. Sixer gave Kumbechiba Kanshi, and Utelia. Nebe kebar mebe ser kabri chike kabri mangbuche tende nebe keba kayo mare sura ko takba sonjon nebe kari na ti ta du yerwa te inde ko tuden koran so yilu ke nebe yena u de takba kadi na yeyo ko jurwa ke che ko mare lega sarva che kayo mare ko na yene de ger mado jurwa che ne chawa che yo mare sura this one
Do so. So then, this is really expressing another point that the opponent is making, that even if a permanent breath is possible, it is unacceptable that it this idea of a permanent breath being possible. It is unacceptable that it be the cause of only of individual minds. So then it's coming back at that idea. It follows that from that breath there are not ascertained to arise only individual minds, because in the space of any one inhalation and exhalation of breath, there will be many minds that apprehend many earlier and later objects. So then, once it is apprehending earlier and later objects then in the space of one breath, then that again, sort of rejects the idea that it could be permanent.
This one. Yeah, the Utakba Sija, Ralu Palagio Rayanja. Kira Utakba di China Yoma Reso, Ralu Yomarwa. Takobu Utakba in Sigora. Utakba Siba in Ayansigora. Yilu Rere Kone Guru Tegma Reso Shaker, Tawamade. The Uchulanya Toma, Zinchir telling Nema Insigatua, Chiganidua. What they Karshegorasana. Rimbi Jan, you look to me, your member Marmadida. Utakbashi si Jans or Ralupa. Did those are Rimbi Jan, me chemistry said in those.
See, because that's. And Kachi Kari Lakidu Danda. DJ, because Jason was on.
Because you know that my sense. Because it did last one than the Castle. Dear, you look Mambuchi, take you talk about the nature. Get it, did under Ralula Geva. Get it to make you Minasera. Udege, Yilu Mambuche, Chuchi Maresla Reva. Mena, get it to Chito, Yilu connect you. Inji to make you menotion a Kajusula. Yilu de Utakwatege, Tuchi to Yilu Rere Chuchi Mado, Mambuche Chuchi Maresla. Tadula Pala, the Ucho Jans Ralura. Rimbi Jami chemisters Ralupalo Giva. Ucho Jansera. Rimbi Jan Yilu to make you Mimbartasera. Nipaja Rere Cuma Imbartasera. Chizar to Yilu Mambuche Mituba Kanshi. Kolian Nibakeva Mebeches or Tabarava. Tabarana call Nibakeva Mare. Rimbi get to it and Chizar came to Keva Maro. Kona Yona to your Legacy Maro. Rimgi Jan, you look Cuma Imbartasura. Chizar to give a Cuma Imbakanshi. Kolia Nibakeva Mebeches.
Oh, did
Oh, did it?
So then the opponent at this point is one mind cognizes many earlier and later objects, but there are not many minds. So then the Buddhist rejoinder for this is, well then, mind cognizes many earlier and later objects, either A, with various aspects, or cognizes them B, without various aspects. If A, which means with various aspects, it is proven that there are many minds. If B, it follows that mind will be that means, what is it? B being without various aspects. It follows that mind will be a simultaneous cognizer of many past and future objects, because there is nothing preventing its cognizing thus. Or alternatively, it follows that mind will not be a cognizer of successive objects because there is no change in its aspects, it being permanent. Again, this idea that it can't be successive.
This one.
No.
The word the left side, not she's a guy. The dear that. Utakba she see Jansi, young Ranlu love Gorda, and the Ranlu love Gorda pa.
No.
Utakba Yoma race, Utakba she ever in a Yansigara. You rere cone cure mites, you rere kill a future, but take my race. The wording, but the Uchilana turned to my Zinsi telling near my instinct.
Oh, really?
Gada Trugi, Tamateda. The other drinking got it.
No. So then, yeah, no, just I got a little head here. The B is what does it say? Alternatively, when it says alternatively, it's rejecting the idea of a mind that's permanent. So it follows that mind will not be a cognizer of successive objects because there is no change in its aspects, of its aspects.
This one.
Jason.
So this is the Ralu Kaya Mutango. uchi layan ten Thomas ku uchi ge ringdela yilu rere mado ke togu maresla ro o den de mare kana uchi ta uchi layan ten Thomas be yilu mambo ke do asura pa u ta jin gamba dam da mambo tan sigra pa sta ni so gobdu sa rere nalia u pa ta dile sheba khashe ke togra yilu samlu mambo korgra kena u ti yilu rere ke wa ngebar to chigre tile ma ki mare se so asera no u chi pa tang je ringa tile yilu mambo chigre se gore chi tan je ke wa ngeba che to mare se gora o ti re de ne se do da ya
just
u chi la ya to ma jin je tele
what's being where this is coming from then is that with each breath that there has to be multiple minds being produced, and because on an exhalation you can have multiple thoughts, and on an inhalation is the same way. So then there has to be like some multiple minds at that time. That do so.
Oh yeah. Tanga ji tuma ji me te ji che. Ta chawa de le da. Tuma lo ji Geshe na se de gorda. Tuma lo ji Geshe na se do. Chawa de. Na zo ta da tin di go de de do.
Did God and gay the
Ta da tin de da de ta da tin go do shi ne. Ta da na zo ta ma de ta da tu re ba. Ta da tu de do sa u chi la ya ta tuma se de bo do ta da tu re do. Zinjir tele ne mayin se de jada tungi tambu den rodo ta niba de tuma loji Geshe na se de this one nga chi tuma yilu chi Geshe ba yinge yilu tuma me da ko chu len jag do tuma loji Geshe na se da ko chu len jag do o kina uchi tang be ring de la se gora uchi pa tang be ring de ya ene yilu mambo kya mare se yilu chi gi tanda mambo sing gi ware se gora tuma loji Geshe na se u pa tang be ring de ya yu mambo tang gi se yilu chi ra ke ra ma do yu re zingen gi yilu menda re kya mare se gora this one ko ti la ra u tang be ring de la yilu u te yilu chik chik res la ro u tang be ring de la yilu chik che me do yilu mambo ke thop ko do se ra tin do o de yilu ti mambo mare yilu chik yu mambo jing ge war ma do yilu chik ma do ki yo mare se tengi mambo tengi yo de yilu chik ra re se ga ra
yilu chik then
yilu me da ka se temper re se ga ra u tang je ring de la
yeah, so then
tumalo chi Geshe na se do yeah.
So they don't accept this idea of many minds, okay? They only accept the idea that they say that one mind can what do you say, cognize multiple objects.
Tumalo chi Geshe na ngachi tuma yilu chi gishin de ware se yilu tuma mare se na se gara ti chu la gdo ta bu ti la gore tuma lo chi Geshe na
maybe I got that did but because the chikche
de tuma lo chi Geshe na se de ra
the gyada
dingin go chikje ra
gyada
tuma lo chi Geshe na ni chi jan jong do de gyawa me je rim ge jang se ni ba de chikje ni ba de gyada dingin chikje ni ba de chikan ni ba
I somehow got ahead. So sorry. We're back on this. If one mind cognizes many earlier and later objects, but there are not many minds. That's where we are now. Yeah. Which is 106 here on page. Well, it's on page 291. We're reading the commentary, but the verse is 106. Yeah.
다른 루파 랍게라 원하식도 일일단 나치 도마 남된도 시에서 남에도 시에서 두어지를 거야 저는 우찌게 된들라 일로게 돈다 망보 신기요나 돈다 망보도 거 남바샤네 신기요다 남바마샤네 신기요래서 그래 남바샤스나 하고라 건나니 돈다 망보 지나기는 게 신기요라 만나네 신기요래서 그래 나네 신기요래서나 그 껴당겨라
Nangi. Oh.
그래서
Because number kikorio.
남에서 남바샤스도
Number
이
shot.
남바디라 이 샤스도 롤 샤레데스 나야데스라
No, they.
아주 단단 디 남바샤도
No.
디 남바샤도 제가 그 우찌게 될이야 단단 망부 일루찌게 신기래시야라
No, they.
근데 단단 망부들에 그 남바샤네 신기도 남바마샤네 신기도 스토지라
Oh, did.
남바샤네 신기나네 셰바 망부도 와서라
No.
분반 남과 신기 가와 남바샹게 조서 남바샹게 남바샹게 신도 남바샹게 되게 우타지가 망부 연거라
No, they.
셰바 망부도 와서라
No, they.
우시 담베린데
So the idea of this aspect is that an aspect is cast from the object, and that's what the mind picks up. So if one mind cognizes many earlier and later objects, but there's not many minds, then the Buddhist rejoinder is, well, then mind cognizes many early objects either with the casting of various aspects or cognize them without these aspects. No, Tadrisa.
뭐야 다는 가서 치마다나서 남바마샤네 샤베나 시거라 우땅베리들라 일루치게 아니 이 가셔지 남바마샤르체 만나네 샤베나 시거라 아니 지제만 본 얘기도 되와매지 치마다나서도 돼 남바마샤네 샤베나 시거라 되네 직자리 년교르데 겨와 매셔르시도 아니 일루 쳐제 돈 토마토네 직자리도 쉐버는 들어왔다 대달 쉐버랑 겨와 매베셔서 아니 일루데 돈다 마부 뒤직도 신바스나 되도 와서 남반네 셔르게요 말하셔라 나는 나게요 말 코션시고라 아니 다 뒤직도 직자도 쉐버타 하시고라 림지 쉐버 말하셔라 직자도 쉐버타 남바마샤네 코셰베시도
Oh, so it the number masha the Dharma.
마샤네 쉐바이나 시고라
Yeah.
근데 남바
Oh, yeah. So if it's A, that with various aspects, it's that proves that there's many minds. But B, okay, if it's B, that then not casting any aspects here, then it follows that mind will be a simultaneous cognizer of many past and future objects, because there is nothing preventing it cognizing thus. Tatrisa.
뭐야 다이 버차시네 다디 데멘도 그치 야나 림게장 쉐바르미 조라다 림게장 메줄 케바 메시로세도 림게장 메줄 케바 메시로세 다다 타마데
Oh, they tamadere.
림게장세 타마데와 메줄 케바 메시로스도자 자다 계획이 당보더라. 다 림게장 메줄 케바 메시로스는 가스르스네 야나 림게장 쉐바르 메요하다 우찌게르라야 일로 또바게 에네 림게장 쉐바르 메요하다 남베 케바 메베셔 남바 마샤르 에셔시고라 단데 디지랍단데
Alternatively, it follows that mind will not be a cognizer of successive objects because there is no change of its aspects. If the aspects, it seems to be talking about that there are no aspects, right? So then it will not be a cognizer of successive objects because there is no change in the aspects. Tadrisa. Yeah, now we're on 108, which would be 107 here.
Utuma rimji jongwa yelu rere kona kewaka metakwache rwa utuma rimji jongwa ha spa utna yahandustan utuma rimji jongwa ene yelu de rimji pa kewa yensena se te pa kagdwa.
So now it's refuting the idea that mind arises from an impermanent breath.
Tege yelu rimji kewa de kagdwa. This one.
Yeah, first refuting the idea that just individual minds are generated by many successively occurring breaths. That common need to.
Common need to.
No, do.
Dilabga.
No, no.
Rari membe tujen yesikdo. Uji keje mambuta kede tende semyeji tuimba ne toche nasikdo. Kede lule jonge rangi rinda ngamale jongwa membe tu rimji jongwa chen Geshe. Rari membe tu jengi uji kechi mabudas. Kede lule jongi sera, lule teni jongi reshe. Rangi rinda ngamale jongwa membe tu rimji jongwa chengi uji kechi mabu taas. Rari membe tu jengi uji kechi mabu taas gira. Mitakbe uki kechi mambuta zosigara. Mambuta. Ngasirin jungwa tende semrere nyegi nguigyo yinbar tokbar shebe yelu tuma chikchar minjo ngo shenas. Rari membe tujengi uki kechi mambuta kede tende sem nyegi tandi tiwada di niga yungudwa. Da pechi te shashana kamedwa. Yeah, maybe
we'll just stop here at 107 then. Yeah, so we'll stop right there at on page 292 292 at verse. Ours is 107. Dedicate? Yeah, okay. So now we'll say the dedication before adjourning. That's a long thing. So I dedicate all this virtue to emulate the knowledge of the hero Manjushri and likewise Samantabhadra as well. With whatever dedication is praised as supreme by all the conquerors who traverse the 3 times, I also dedicate all my roots of virtue for the sake of auspicious deeds.